Hi, Tom here with a new Circle Line Optical drawing challenge. Start by drawing a vertical line. Make a mark at the center of this vertical line, halfway up. This mark could become a short horizontal line. Now divide the two halves of this vertical line in half again. So now we have a vertical line divided into 4 equal parts with 3 markers. Next, make the top and the bottom marks into horizontal lines. Now we can draw 2 vertical lines either side of the first line that we drew. We can use this shape to make 2 equal sized diamond shapes, one above another. In this video, the line drawing is all in real time, but you might find it useful to pause the video at some points just so you can work out in your drawing where the lines exactly go. Now we can extend these 2 horizontal lines and add a horizontal line to the right at the top and bottom points of the diamond. We can also add a new horizontal line in the middle. Now this length, the length of the side of a diamond shape, we need the same length going along this horizontal line to the right. Next, using that length, we can repeat the shapes of the right-hand side of the 2 diamonds, carefully repeating the angles that we have already drawn on the right. To line these new shapes up, we can draw vertical lines from their points, sort of vertical lines going downwards, to help us find the angles that we need. Next, mark the length of a side of a diamond onto the left-hand side middle line, the horizontal line, and now by repeating the angles that we have already drawn, this time on the left, we can make another cube. Notice how this also should create another diamond shape, the same diamond shape as our first 2 diamonds. We can now make the lines we need a little darker and erase some of the guidelines that we no longer need. We are starting at the center of this drawing, so it's important that this part of the drawing is just right, because we're going to move out from the center to a much more complex drawing. So the next step is to look at the 3 cubes that we have drawn, and we need to add 3 guidelines. The first guideline is on the top face, the top surface of the top cube, and goes to the right horizontally along the middle of the cube face, and continues to go along the right. Next, we can repeat this type of guideline here on the face of the bottom cube on the right, again extending the middle line out of the shapes that we already have. And now we can extend the middle line to the left cube too, again going parallel to the edge of the cube, but in the middle of the cube. Now we have extended these lines, we can make another diamond shape. We can do this 3 times to make 3 new diamonds. So now we have a pattern of 3 cubes in a hexagon, a 6-sided shape. And I've just noticed that all of the shapes that we've just drawn so far are all identical diamond shapes. There are 12 diamond shapes all packed together to make this new hexagon. So now we can repeat these middle guidelines, the 3 guidelines that we have, we can repeat these with 3 more guidelines going through the middle of the 3 diamonds that we have just drawn and extending them outwards. Now we can continue this central vertical line that we drew at the beginning of the drawing, our first line. And now by continuing our guidelines here up towards the right, we can draw this line all the way to the horizontal line, and now we can join our top point to the point on the right with a straight line, and now we can continue this line too. Next, if we look carefully, we can see that we have the start of our first arrow. So we can make the lines of this triangle darker. And then when you look at the triangle with the face of the cube that it's attached to, as it were, it makes an arrow pointing to the right. By carefully extending the guidelines we already have, we can find another triangle, the point of an arrow, but this time pointing upwards. We can extend this line from the right up to the top and then add a line from the left to the top too to create a new arrow pointing upwards. Again, once you have found the arrow head, the point of the arrow, we can make the lines darker so that we don't lose where it is. If we extend the line from the center of our second arrow downwards to the left, and then join this new point with a point directly above it using a vertical line, then we have our third arrow. It sort of appears, and this time it points upwards to the left. Again, we need to make the lines of the arrow darker so that, well, I need to make them darker so I don't get lost. Next, we can extend this horizontal line towards the right. Now draw another vertical line joining these 2 points on the right. And we can continue this line from the left arrow to the base point of the whole shape that we're drawing. And now draw a line from the base of the point on the right and another line from the base of the point on the left. And now we can darken our fourth arrow, an arrow pointing downwards. And just by extending these 2 lines, we find our fifth arrow, pointing downwards towards the right. So now we have found it, let's darken the lines again straight away. We can extend these lines to find the corners of the arrows. Just draw a guideline through the middle of the cube to the corner of each of the arrows. Can you see the last arrow yet? We need to find one more arrow. So here is the last triangle. Hopefully you have 6 solid 3D arrows made by 6 cubes in the center. The center might look like 3 cubes, but in fact there are 6 sort of cubes in the center, but they share some lines between themselves. There's also a 6-pointed star in the center of our drawing, and all of the 6 arrows that we have drawn are now contained in a new, larger hexagon. I find it fascinating how, when drawing patterns, for me it's often a surprise how patterns make more patterns, and I only realise it after I've made the drawing, rather than during it. So next we need to carefully erase the guidelines that we no longer need before we can add some tone to this drawing. We need 2 tones, one a very dark tone and then one a mid-tone. A mid-tone is just a tone between light and dark. Be careful at this stage that you shade the right areas of the arrows that we have drawn, otherwise it's a lot of effort to go wrong at this stage. I think you could use 2 colours if you did want to use 2 tones, but just make sure that one of the colours, if you were going to use colours, that one of the colours that you use is a dark tone, darker, and the second colour is a light or mid-tone. I post a new drawing every week. Please subscribe to my YouTube channel, Circle Line Art School, to learn more. Thanks very much for watching.